Believe it or not, I am a very, very competitive person when it comes to playing games. Believe it or not, welcome back to Master Set Madness. We're going to talk about competitive play a little bit. We're going to talk about the whole idea of should you be a pro? Should I be a pro? Why don't I try and be a pro right now? That's what we're going to kind of dive in. As we finish this case, we've got leftovers from a case, and I don't know if these boxes appreciate being called leftovers, but if you watch the last video, right, you watched the 500 video, I mean, who knows, maybe there's a live stream or something in between, I don't know. In the future, what will happen, Master Cog? This is not a leftover box. Oh man, we're hitting it off right away. Rainbow foil version. I cannot check it off the list, and we'll have the list on the right side of the screen there. We're going to add some stuff on there. What we're looking for, there's still quite a few little things, but competition, right? This is what people know me for now. They know me for Master Set Madness. They know me for opening packs. They know me for trying to collect stuff, right? I think most people would put me in that collector sphere, but deep down, I think very few people know, but I am super competitive. Like my first calling into games, Tome of Imperial Flames. What a case box, whatever. I don't need to open anymore. Oh man, this, and combined with what happened in the last box, which is part of this case, this is a good one. This is a good one, and just get a little competitive, huh? You know, when I first got into games, TCGs, CCGs, whatever and everything, you know, of course collecting was cool. You still wanted to get that really cool looking foil, whatever it was, but honestly is the gameplay, right? Is the gameplay, competing to win, outsmarting your opponent. That's what I loved. That is what I would spend hours and hours and hours trying to brew up decks for and do different things. And, you know, honestly, even like looking into a game like this, when I first got into it, like, sure, I mean, you know, I love all this collecting stuff. I love it, but it was the gameplay, right? That really got me. For me, it was the gameplay combined with the way that it looks. Of course, then you get two sides of a coin and you get a beautiful coin. But, you know, like if I feel like as much as I love opening packs, like I would really, really love to go to a competitive event 3, 4, 5 times a week and compete. I would love it. And honestly, I've thought a lot about, not actually doing it, but I think a lot about the idea of like pro play. Like professional play. You play a game to like survive, to function. And wouldn't it just be cool? Wouldn't it be cool if there was just enough going on in the system? There's our little system reset, where we could have a decent sized pool of people in Flesh and Blood who that's what they do. They play competitively. They don't need to have a side job. They don't need to have other things that they're doing, but they can just do the pro circuit and it works, right? It works for them. It's not a break even, which some of the, like right now, that's what some of the best people do. They just break even, or even worse than break even, you kind of lose a little bit or a lot of it, depending on where you land. Oh, that pack was a terrible pack to try and open, which means, no, doesn't mean there's anything good in it. But it's so like, and there's a lot of reasons, of course, why it's difficult to actually come out ahead in, you know, professional play right now. And I mean, honestly, that is one of the reasons why I'm so competitive, that it's such in a very good way, complicated game, that I have a hard time going to an event to compete, but then just kind of like the amount of time you have to put in to be really good compared to what comes out, for me, where I'm at in my life right now, is it's just hard to match them up. You know, it's very difficult to match up how many hours you have to to play to really rock at some of the big events. And of course, you know, and I'm not saying that even if I did put the time in that I would be able to. That's not my point. My point is not that I could even get close to being at anywhere near the top 150 in an event. You know, because I could guarantee I probably wouldn't the first couple times anyways. But the point is just like there's the rewards, they're just not high enough for me to even think of putting in the time to do it. And I'm sure there's other people to do that. And of course, there's two sides to that. One is, well, if, you know, it's fun. It's supposed to just be for fun. And 100% agree. I like 100% agree right now. Like, if you have fun and you're just able to go to these big events and run around at them, great, awesome. You're at a great place in life. Enjoy it. Thoroughly enjoy it while you have the chance. You know, for me at my stage of life, to take a, you know, there's a lot of the big events, they start on Friday. And, you know, so to take not just a Friday off, but probably Thursday for travel, and then Friday, and then your Sunday gets kind of messed up too. Like, it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of commitment, especially if you decide, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go to multiple a year, and then a bunch of the really good ones where, you know, you actually get a decent prize turnout there. Across the ocean, Annihilator engine. And so that makes it hard to get to. That's box one. Never going to complain with a Fabled. You know, that's where just the rewards, they just don't quite match up for what someone like me would need to hop into saying, man, I'm going for it competitively in a professional sense. And I guess that's kind of where I'm framing it all in the possibility of somebody actually professionally doing something. And, you know, at this point, like, who does that? Nobody. But just imagine that world where, you know, there's so many other people, Phantom Tide in other spheres, other games and places where you can do good enough so that you can professionally just play. And, you know, it would be so awesome if somehow, I guess, you know, okay, pause. The whole reason I'm even thinking about this is in a recent interview, you know, James had mentioned that they want to increasing the prize pool for events is something that they would like to do. They're going to announce something at Worlds, kind of what that looks like maybe for next year. Very excited about that. I love that. I love that they want to do that. I love that they want to push that to, you know, keep the hype up, keep things going. Super, super glad they're doing it. And that's what made me think about it. You know, like, what actually would it take? And I guess for me, what it would take is, well, one thing is, it would have to be a larger spread on the amount of people who don't just break even from an event, but actually come out a little bit ahead. Like, you know, to feel like this is something you can do professionally. You don't want to have it just be the top, and I'm not looking at any numbers in front of me right now, but, you know, say it's the top 8 even. Just random, okay? Not based on any specific reality right now, but let's say the top 8 of every major event come out ahead, right? That's not, your odds are just not in your favor. Even if you're super, super good, the odds are rough. It's rough odds to just kind of bank on that every single time. And then that's just assuming that you kind of get ahead from it. But if you've got to top it, like to really get ahead, man, like when that's the case, you really want that top place to like be so big of a pool, prize pool, that's like, okay, if I top one of these, then like I'm good for a long time. Like I'm good for quite a while. Like not the kind of good of like, you know, you're going to buy a mansion, but like you're good in the sense of, okay, if for some reason I just totally flop the next couple of months of events, I'm not going to like go sit on, you know, not going to miss my mortgage or, you know, whatever, that kind of a thing. Anyways, I know I'm kind of rambling. I didn't make a list today. I just thought, you know, I'm just going to, let's go and see for it. So anyways, I'd like to see like bigger prize pool at the top so that if you do get it, like you're good for a while, but then also system reset, like spreading, you know, kind of the opposite thing at the same time, spreading it farther down the pool so that, you know, there's not so many negatives to doing all those flights. Because you remember when you go to these things, you have to pay for your flights, you have to pay for your lodging, you have to pay for your food, you got to pay for your event fee, you got to remember that you're going to get distracted by all the cool things at all the booths, and you're probably going to buy something you shouldn't buy. You know, like there's a lot of things that build up into just the cost of going to the event, not to mention the cost you paid for your deck, the cost that, again, you're probably skipping out on work. If you're skipping out on some work, fabricate, and, you know, the cost, I think a very real cost of how much time did you spend preparing for that event? Because that, you know, every time you're preparing for that event, and again, you should be doing it if you're having fun. It should not be a total chore. But when you get to that point of, I'm preparing for professional level play, trying to win the super big stuff, like it takes a lot of time, because there's, you know, there's that curve, right, where you could put in so much time and effort and you get huge gains in your abilities at the start, and then you hit that point where you get to more of the finer details, which you need to get through to get to the very, very top, and then it just takes more and more time. More and more time to do that. It's not like a 2-minute exercise, shriek, razors. This is a case. This is a case. Ooh, look at that legendary. Not something we need off our list, but very nice. Very, very nice. Man, and yeah, so if you're really putting in that time, and, you know, I'm not going to try and put how many hours it would take, who knows. Especially, oh, there we go, Tome of Imperial Flame, yes. You know, the more hours other people are putting in, the more you got to put in. And if you did get to that point where it really was a professional thing, like really, really, really a professional thing, then, I mean, there's going to be people, right? That's what they do all week. They just prep to play that game. And at that point, it's like, okay, I've really got to give up a lot to do this, so there's got to be some good output for it. And I mean, you know, it can just get crazy. And I like that actually excites me because, like, I mean, man, we've got some good gameplay now, but just imagine if there were 200 people in the world who did well enough at this game with a high enough prize pool, high enough, you know, everything, where 200 people just, like, this is what they did professionally. Man, I think again, because of the complication of this game and the way things change and move around, especially like Living Legend and all these different formats, I think you could see some really, really exciting gameplay. Oh, last pack here in the box. I think we would see just so much more creativity and different things happening, and oh man, that's exciting to me. This is our last box here. Remember, the first box actually was in a previous video, so you gotta go check that out if you haven't. But I mean, this is not bad. This is not bad for 2 boxes. Here's number 3, final one of the case. And, you know, just thinking about that, you get to that point where there's so many people watching and getting into that game. Like, that's kind of the key, even, I think, the kingpin. If we ever want to see like a ton of people just playing Flesh and Blood professionally, then of course we got to have more eyes on the game. You got to have more eyes on the game. There is the Marvel Evil Steel Soul Controller. Man, look at that stuff. Look at that. Compare him to his friend. Just let that comparison sit, and I'll let you decide how you feel about it. But oh my goodness, I gotta make some more space here. You know what? We're just doing we're doing the good row in the middle. Get rid of that shine, that shimmer in there. We do not have to check anything off the list. Unfortunately, with that, we're getting a lot of Marvel duplication. Lots of Marvel duplication. anyways, yeah, we'd have to get way more eyes on this. You got to get some more sponsors, more types of sponsorships, and of course sponsorships that helps. They do help actually people now. I know a lot of people now are on teams and they get sponsorships, which for them helps take away the risk, right? It takes away the risk of going to an event. And a lot of times they have agreements, right? They got to share some of what they get and whatnot. And, you know, I don't know any of the real details of all that jazz, but if we get to that point where you have big viewership, then you can get big sponsorships, and you can get sponsorships for the actual event itself, and not to mention individuals. But once you get that sponsorship for the events, then you can really start getting kind of the wheel going, right? You get that wheel going, people sponsor the event, then they can offer more prize money at the event. There's max, and then the more prize money, theoretically, you know, down the road you work at it, more people get excited about it, they get into it, want to watch it, more people watch it, more you can get with all that support and stuff. And man, that would be fun. I would love to see it. And that's the kind of environment where I'd be like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. I do crazy things and go for it. And obviously, of course, if there's a way where you could figure out to make that a little bit more localized, right? The prizes would not have to be, base legs. They wouldn't have to be as good for just local events, because you don't have to pay hundreds of dollars to get to the events. Like the overall prizes could be way less, but just because you don't have to spend as much on it, you might have some chances. So I'm excited. I'm excited there are big events. I'm excited that things are looking like they're going to grow next year. On that front, I'm excited that there's a bunch of people out there who get to stasis cell, get to experience it, go for it, have fun. You know, and I don't know, I think it'd be really cool if someday we got to that. There's a big chunk of people just playing professionally. And I mean, I guess kind of like the overall, like the big kingpin. Oh, there's too many kingpins. The big thing, yeah, is just getting people to watch. And that's tough. That is very tough for card games because, you know, as much, like you've really got to be into the game to enjoy watching it. And even then, like part of the aspect of card games is, you know, they're very few. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. You tell me if you're in this group of people, but I think there's probably very few people who just just watch people play online card games, right? Like usually if you're watching, it's because you also play a little bit, right? And you like that. And so you know, when people stop, or when you're watching, you can't be going and playing somewhere at the same time, right? So it's hard to sit and watch a 8-hour event when you're like, well, I want to go to my event at my local place. It's not quite the same as, you know, football, basketball, any of that jazz where people just sit and watch and watch and watch. And, you know, like, of course, we like card games and they're fun, but flipping cards is just, it has a little bit of a different excitement value on a screen. And especially when you know, yeah, it's part of the game. You sit and you watch and you wait, make the turn, make the play. And then it's just, yeah, it's hard to keep that engagement. It's very hard to keep that engagement. So the solutions, I don't know the solutions for it. I don't know how to make it happen. I'm just kind of rambling my thoughts. I'm recharging a little bit after all these breaks. And just thinking about it, man, it would be fun. It would be super, super fun to just play competitively War Machine. But, you know, life takes a lot of time. And, you know, again, it's, for me personally, it's hard to just kind of go partially in, right? That's why we're doing big Master Set Madness here. You know, I'm not going to be like, well, let's open 3 boxes and hope we get it. Like, I'm going in. And so to go in competitively, it's like, man, if I go once every month to an event or once every couple months, it's hard for me to keep the motivation going. And it's just hard in life to do it more than that with all the other things going on. But that's kind of a different conversation today. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your comments are. And We got a scrap trader here in the last pack. Overload script, very, very good, especially if you look back at the previous box. In this case, a very good case. Nothing to complain about here. Loving it. We are making some progress. Actually no progress today on our big hits for Master Set Madness, but we are trucking right along. We're still looking for the big kahuna. And let me just come back and close this out by saying, you know what? Legend Story Studios has put together a really awesome competitive scene. It's really awesome. That's not the point of this video. What they're doing is great. It's awesome. I love the direction they're going. I think it's great. I'm not complaining about it. My point is just more to say, you know what? There's levels. There's more levels we can go to, we can hit to. That I hope they do. I really hope they do. And man, if they ever get there, like every level is just going to get better and better and better for everybody involved. So that's all I'm thinking about. I think it's fun and exciting. It's exciting to dream, right? Exciting to dream about things, what can happen. Anyways, you guys go out there, have some fun, play some games, get some more people into Flesh and Blood, and we'll see you next time. Peace.